Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Erndale's. My name is Dale, and I'm doing a little bit of a different type of a Christmas vlog this morning. I've decided, before all the Christmas vlogmas were put out, I was going to do regular vlogmas, and I'm kind of glad now that I didn't, because there's quite a few things that have been going on that would have prevented my being able to do them every day. And now that I've been watching a lot of the vlogmas, and I have been loving them, I'm not complaining about them at all. They're great. I realize that I am not the typical vlogma type person. I don't have my tree up, and I'm not going to be putting it up because we are doing renovations. We've had windows put in, and we are doing painting and flooring, and it's just not going to work with having a tree in the midst of all this kind of stuff. So I'm missing that portion of Christmas. I don't have an advent calendar to open up. I don't have a lot of Christmas projects that I'm doing at the moment because of all what's going on in the house. And so this year it's kind of a watered down version. But in any event, I've never been somebody who has really liked the commercial aspect of Christmas. I've always made my own gifts to give to people. I've just not ever bought into the buying gifts, buying all the different things for Christmas. My tree is full of handmade ornaments, and hopefully next year I can share that with you because they are very special. And everything pretty much that I have as a decoration I have made or somebody I know has made. So I'm not into the fancy baubles, although I love to look at them when other people's trees and other people's decor, but it's just not my thing. What is my thing is the handmade articles that I have, or gifts that I have been given by people that I love who have made things and have passed them down through the years. My mom was a really crafty lady. She did all kinds of things. She was a seamstress, but she did every craft imaginable. And a lot of the things that I have, she made. So I'm going to show you today 3 men that she made. Now, she made these back in the middle 70s, I think. I don't know if you're my age, in 65-ish or older, you might have remembered the craft that came out in the mid-70s. It was called dip and drape, and it was a real fad for a very short time. And my mom kind of, it was one of those things that she just really needed to try. So she tried the original type of dip and drape, and what it was a fabric that had a stiffener in it so that when you wet it, you could drape it, and then you would let it dry, and whatever you formed it as, that's the way it was. And so everybody was making dolls and all kinds of silly things. But the first dip and drape stuff, you had to paint it. After you took a styrofoam ball, and you made a head, and then you draped the thing, then you had to paint this doll or whatever you were making. My mom took it a little bit step further, and she discovered that when you use the fabric, you could drape, but you could also use real fabric over top of that fabric. It would stick to it, and it would still have the draping quality, but you wouldn't have to paint it. You had actual fabric. And so she created, I'll show you. She created this. Now this fabric underneath, I can't even show you really because it's quite, oops, hold on, I gotta grab them better. Underneath here, I don't know if you can just see the white stuff. That's the dip and drape fabric that had the glue or stiffener or whatever it was in it. And she would have draped it over a cone. He just does a cone and a head. She put the head on the cone and put arms on probably pipe cleaners, and then started putting the dip and drape material over top. And then while it was still wet, she cut her velvet and brocades, and she continued. And so as you can see, as however you draped it is how it stayed. This little fellow, he's actually kneeling. You can see she has formed a knee here. And yeah, isn't he beautiful? So this is one of 3 that I have, and these are the Wisemen. So I'll show you the other 2. You just move off for a minute. Oops. Here's the other one of the other fellows. And even this here, this gold piece is got the dip and drape material. So this is permanently. You can't, it's never going to fall out of shape. It's quite hard, but it's all material. This is velvet in here. His outer cloak is all brocade. So that's the second one. And out of my way here. And here is the third one. So she's put the jewels on their heads. He has beautiful fuchsia colored velvet and a brocade garment here, and then his cloak is got some sparkles in it. I don't know, I guess what, I'm not sure what kind of material it is, but it's all draped so beautifully. And these are my Wisemen. So what I want to tell you is, of course, with me, there's always a story with everything. That's, if you know me, you know there's always a story. So back in the 70s, when she started making these Wisemen, she made a set of 3 Wisemen for herself, and these actually were my mom's set, and for all of her children, and she had 4 sons and myself. I didn't get a set because I was still living at home when she made these. So my 4 brothers and their families each got a set of 3. And then she had this set of, this was her set that she would put under the tree. And then she made a complete set for her church. And by complete, I mean there was 2 shepherds, 3 wise men, Mary, Joseph, and the baby. And she actually made some of the animals as well. And that set was put up. My dad made a big crutch out of wood and straw and that kind of thing, and they put it up in the church, at the front of the church, and it was huge. It was monstrous. In fact, I have a picture. Hold on, I'll just put these fellows aside for a second because I can't get near. Hold on, fellows, where you go? Let me see. I don't know if you'll be able to see this very well. I hope there's no. So he made this out of just sticks and straw, had a wood base, and here's a better picture. These pictures are quite faded. They're quite old. So in this one you can see the fellows with the checkered. Those are the shepherds, and then Mary is the little brown, she's kneeling. You can't really see Joseph, he's on the other side, and then there's the 3 wise men. So she had made this complete set, and every year her church put it up, and then my mom passed away, and the church kind of went, not because my mom passed away, but the church went through a bit of a change. And it was a declining congregation, and so they actually sold the building and the church, and they closed it. And just before they were closing it, I guess the group of ladies that my mom always worked with in the church, they were cleaning out cupboards and things like that, and they came across the original big crutch, not the crutch itself, but all these dip and drape characters. So they called me and asked me if I wanted them. So I went and I picked them up, and they had been totally neglected for years and years and years, and they were a real mess. I almost didn't take them home, but I did. So I put them in a box, and I left them in the box for quite a long time, several years. I just actually didn't know what to do, because really, like I said, when this is like this, you can't soak it to reshape it or anything like that. And some of the headpieces were missing. You know, some of these beautiful parts here were gone. Most of the jewels were off of them. The one fellow that had the little box, there was no box of jewels. And so there was a lot of work that needed to be done to restore them. So when I was ready, I decided I was going to do this. So I did. I started to take them apart as much as I could. And of course, I didn't have access to these velvets that she had. She was a seamstress, so she had lots of this kind of stuff. But I didn't have anything like that. So I started going to secondhand stores and charity shops, that kind of thing. And I tried to pick up used clothing that I could cut up and fix these. And it took me quite a long time, but I actually did get them all done. And so I donated them to my church. So I do have 4 vlog posts on my restoration of the big set. And I'm going to try and put the link to those in here, because there's pictures of what they look like when I brought them home, and how I was restoring them, and what they look like when I finished. So if you're interested, go to my blog, and I'll leave the link for that below too. And I will try and get the link for each individual. There's 4 blog posts. And the first one is actually about dip and drape, the original dip and drape product when it first came out. And then there's 3 actually about the restoration of these, not these ones, but her ones that she had at the church. So last night, my husband, who is a minister, and I were talking about Wisemen, and you know, the song We Three Kings. And we had actually quite an interesting conversation. And I was sort of picking his brain, because obviously he knows more about these things than I do. But I remember that a year ago, he had done a talk or a little session with this spiritual care group at the nursing home, where he does a lot of his work, about the 3 wise men. And he had told them what he told me last night. So we were talking about them, and he said that actually they were not kings, you know, like as that We Three Kings carol suggests. They were not kings. They were magi, and the magi were, they were very intelligent men, and they tended to study the sky and the stars. So in current day, they would be considered like astronomers. That's what they were. And they were actually quite wealthy as well, I guess, because they were so intelligent. They were able to earn a living with their predictions, or whatever, however they did. I don't know that, but they were wealthy. So they were capable of bringing gifts to the stable where Jesus was born. But the other interesting thing, and I did not know this either, was that they did not arrive to the manger at all. The baby Jesus was 1 year old by the time they got there. So that's kind of a different thing. You know, if you're a Christian and you believe in all this, then you are led to believe that Epiphany, which is a week following Christmas, is when the wise men came. But in actual fact, it was a year later that they actually brought their gifts. So those are just a couple of interesting little tidbits about the wise men. So they were wise men, not kings. They were astrologers, and they followed stars, and so that's what led them to Bethlehem. Now, another interesting thing is, and I don't know if you've read this on the internet or whatever, is that on December 21st this year, I believe it's Saturn and Jupiter are going to be aligned side by side or close to. And the star that is going to be in our sky is going to be very bright from these two planets. And this is considered the Christmas star. And it's been 800 years since this occurred last. So wherever you are on December 21st, if it's not a cloudy night, they said it's going to be very bright, very noticeable, and very visible. So you can have a look and see the real Christmas star. That's just a little sidebar. So these fellows are some of my decorations for this year. I usually put them underneath my tree, but I'm not putting a tree up this year, so I'm going to just have them standing on a piece of furniture, and I will enjoy them. I just think they are the most precious things. And I know for a fact that of all my family, I'm probably the only one that still has them. So just so you can have another look. They're gorgeous. And they are so well done. This one is my favorite. I love this little kneeling fella. He's just my absolute favorite. I love his colors. I love his face. I love his jewels. See his jewels. I like his, I used to call him the pajama one when I was younger, because I liked his striped thing. But yes, they're absolutely incredibly gorgeous, and I'm so glad that I still have them. I will pass these on to my son at some point, but I'm not ready to give them up yet. And then last but not least is this beauty. Move over, fellas. Oh, well, there went one. They're not breakable, thank goodness, because one just fell off the table. I love the colors of his cloak. Absolutely gorgeous material. I wonder what she used that material for, where she got it from. It sort of looks like a, I don't know what you would, almost like an upholstery, but can you imagine having something upholstered in that material? This one has a little bit of, this is like a lame, this material here, and then I see it's got a little bit of fraying. I can clean that up. So that's my vlog, my Christmas vlog for today. Two of the wise men, the other one's on the floor. Sorry, guy. I hoped you enjoyed this, and I hoped you enjoyed seeing my mother's beautiful handiwork. And do go on my blog. I am trying to leave the direct link to the blog posts where I have, and I have lots of pictures in there of the original big set that she did. And if I can't get the link on there, look for October 11th, 12th, 17, and 18 from 2012. Those are the 4 vlog posts that have the stories of the big set that she left for the church that I restored after they were completely ruined. And I don't know what happened to the stable. That wasn't at the church. I don't know if somebody took it home or... And the animals were all gone. There was camels, sheep, a donkey, and they were not there either. Just these figures were there. So it would be nice to have the whole thing, you know, because my dad had a part in that too, but it's gone forever. So that's the 3 wise men, the 3 magi, the 3 astronomers. Pretty interesting. I hope you have a wonderful day. And before I go, I just want to say thank you very much for watching and also for subscribing. I know I never say, you know, please subscribe, click the bell, like, comment. I don't like it when people start doing that, and I really don't like to say it, but I guess, you know, you really kind of have to say it. But thank you for following me and subscribing, those of you who have. I've actually increased, I don't have a ton of followers, but I am growing little by little, and that makes me very happy. And hopefully I can get myself a proper computer so that I can actually do some nice editing and things like that. So have a wonderful day, everybody. Take care of yourselves, stay healthy, and stay safe, and I'm going to see you really soon. Bye for now.